So hello all, I'm back with my channel and this time I have one of my childhood friends, Dibyo Majumder, co-founder of Instaraise, a blockchain-based company. So please, Dibyo, I would request you introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, this is Dibyo. I'm the co-founder of Internship, and we are building a decentralized fundraising ecosystem. So this is a brief about myself, and that's what I'm doing. So as of this video goes on, we'll have a deep dive into it. So yeah.
So let me tell everyone that Dibbo is particularly for a long time into this field. He has started his journey rather than inside software development towards blockchain. And yeah, he's quite a bit specialized here and he has got multiple job offers into this field right now. He is serving as the co-founder of his own company. And so Dibbo, can you shed some light on your educational background?
Yeah. So getting started from the basics, right? I have completed my schooling in KV Faraka. And after that, that's the time when I came to know about computer science in general, right? And I had to use it. So yeah, that has driven me towards taking a computer science and engineering BTech in RNSIT Bangalore, and that's where things started. So to give a brief, I have been involved in a lot of community stuff when I started as a first year, right? And I have been involved in a lot of communities like DDG Bangalore, and even I have founded my own community. That name is BChain Dynamics. So that's where everything started. As a community person, everything I came to know about a lot of different technologies. I met a lot of great people, and that's how my journey started. Uh, Learning about new technologies is something I have been totally fascinated about. And as the time went, I learned about blockchain in one of the Google meetups, right? Even they didn't work on blockchain technologies a lot, but in a Google meetup, I got to know about, hey, what is blockchain, what is Web3 industry in general, and I started researching about it. And yeah, I had a hunch about starting my own company at some point of time, and I've really tried it throughout my whole college days. So once I got into the Web3 ecosystem, I started learning a lot about it. I have contributed to one of the biggest companies at that time, that Consensus. Consensus is the development arm of Ethereum, right? And I started contributing to that. And I was one of the core contributors at Ethereum 2.0 upgrade that just happened few months back. So we started off like that, and I started as a software developer, right? And that's where the things started for me. And it's around second year where I used to develop for a lot of companies. I had done my freelancing in the blockchain ecosystem space, and I have gained some expertise there. And once I got a great hands on it, like, hey, I can develop my own things. So I started on looking for why can't I build up my own startup? And to be specific, the startup I have worked on initially, that my own startup that I have worked on initially was with my college friends, and that was not at all Web3 based or not at all have any dependency on the blockchain ecosystem. So that's where there are actually two startups that I have tried to scale in the very beginning of my college life, and I have learned a lot from that ecosystem. So let's say in my first startup, I have learned like how to do the market research. In my second startup, I have learned, hey, what is product market fit? So these are small learning that I have gained throughout my college journey, right? Apart from development, and I was very much into tech. So throughout my college journey, I have learned a lot about business. I have learned a lot about tech, but yeah, that actually have helped me to start off my own career as a founder. So yeah, that's pretty much, I would say, my college as a learning space. it was great, right? Not with the respect of syllabus or whatever we had, but with the respect of the peers I had, the exposure I got specifically being here in Bangalore, and that's one of the key factors I would say that made my college life much more better, I would say.
Okay, that's really an informative thing that you have told us right now. I would like to ask that I know that at the end of your college journey, that is at the end of your last semester, you pursued an internship towards the
Yeah,
blockchain. So how would you describe that? What experiences you got from there?
yeah. So as I mentioned, I have been contributing to blockchain ecosystem way before my last semester or last year. Okay, so that's as of experience, I have always I told about consensus, right? After that, I actually had freelance for a network called Junka Network to build their whole wallet and a centralized exchange infrastructure. So I got a great exposure in the freelance work, right? And being a very novice person at that time, I feel doing the product, creating the product from very start, right, from the architectural level to the end product where I have written code in React as well as in the backend. So that has given me the exposure of how to develop things, right? It's development is something I would say it's not just about coding, right? Code is the last thing that you do, right? So I have gotten exposure of blockchain ecosystem as a whole before my in within my third year itself, right? A great product development exposure. But what I would say, like in my last year, I got formally the green ticket to do my internship from my college, and I have pursued my internship as a blockchain developer in Peshawar, and that's how the thing initially started. So I started as a blockchain developer intern. Then that got converted into a full-time opportunity as a product development lead and as well as a full stack developer, right? But I was specifically heading the Web3 development and the research around the Web3 ecosystem and blockchain ecosystem as a whole.
Yeah, that's nice to know again. And your company converted your internship to a PPO offer. That's what I know.
Yeah.
So how was the difference in your work, your while the internship and after the internship? What would you say on that?
I would say that this is a funny thing. Like all the interns work as hard as the full-time employees, and even the workload is something very much similar. If you are an intern, if you are a full-time employee, I haven't seen any difference in the workload or any difference in the exposure that I have got. Right, even in the full-time or in the internship, it's both the same. It's just like I was paid less. So. Uh, um, as of the work, I would say the as in internship and uh, in full-time position, I have been doing the same thing. But one thing that I would say specifically that in the Web3 ecosystem, all the startups in the Web3 ecosystem, what they used to do is they hire someone who have prior expertise in something because as this industry is kind of moving at a very fast pace, everyone wants to be ahead, right? So that's where this whole Web3 ecosystem is something like, hey, you know things, you just come aboard. It's not something like in internship, you will be getting a great learning exposure, right? And you'll be learning a lot from your peers. But I feel all the information we already have, all the knowledge I already have, that actually had helped me to get into this ecosystem very faster and in a very initial moment.
That's nice. That's nice. And so, how would you rate this company where you worked and its culture and everything?
Yeah. So as of the culture, it's really nice. Like we have been a bunch of people who are really enthusiastic about the work, and that team was very much smaller, right? I was maybe the second or third employee in that whole team, and that's one of the cool things that I have been seeing, and our founders at that time, great exposure in the whole ecosystem. So it's not just about the work, but it's about uh, I have got a really great exposure in the after getting into that startup where it just got started, right? And I feel that's one of the best things happened to me, right? And yeah, I feel that's pretty much it. Like being in a startup at a very initial stage is one of the best thing that can happen to any person. What I believe, staying in this position.
Yeah, that's true. It's quite a bit advantageous sometime that when you start off with a company that is in its nascent stages,
Yeah,
and you got to work as a as one of the key founder employees. Yeah. Okay.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I would mention one more thing, like when you get into a company that's very much in the nascent stage, you have the ownership to deliver things, right? And being an intern, I was having a lot of ownership, like, hey, you need to ship this thing, you have to organize this. So I got an exposure in not just development, but in the research. Even we have organized a hackathon, right? So it's been a fun thing, like having an ownership and taking the product from a very basic thing, basic conceptualized thing to a production, uh, production led stuff. So yeah,
Yeah, that's very nice again. And post that, okay, fine. One thing we missed, what company it was. We didn't mention the name that
yeah,
where you worked.
yeah, yeah. I mentioned once, like the name is Teshore.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
And post that you got two more job offers, and one is based on Delhi and one is based on Canada. Uh, can you
yeah.
shed some light on that? Why did you decline the offers there?
So I have got a great offer as well as uh, good opportunity, but that was very much specific to software development, right? And as of I have earlier mentioned that this was really uh, in my head, and I had a hunch that I need to do a startup. So that's what actually placed me back. So, anyways, I was getting paid well in Teshore, right? But I was okay. I was getting paid well in Teshore, but the thing was, I had a thing. If I stay here in this startup, I will be having way more better exposure than I go to any place. Right? Specifically, being in Bangalore was one of the advantage, I would say. So I didn't want to leave Bangalore and go to some other place where I don't get this much exposure to the communities that I want to belong for. So
So,
yeah, that's pretty much the reason to actually decline those.
yeah, so quite a bit courageous step. Normally, many people won't be doing that because of the hefty amount as part of compensation you were getting. Now
Mhm.
coming to the point, you left your previous organization to found your own company with Aditya Gautam as another co-founder.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
tell us about that a little bit. What is the company doing and how you led that to coming into reality and so on.
yeah. So this was kind of a very uh, what I should say is like we just got an idea that and we were actually receiving a lot of requests as a freelancer that hey, I need a IDO contract to be deployed and I want to do my public sale, right? So that retail investors can actually come and buy my token before the token listing. So we were getting a lot of requests, and that's when I discussed thing like with Aditya that hey, why don't we just create a platform where they can do these things by their own, right? And then we discovered that in other ecosystems, we were specifically building on Tezos, and in other ecosystem there is a concept of IDO, right? And a lot of platforms have made they have scaled the IDO platform to a next level. So me and Aditya got a thing like let's try to push this in the social media and see how the thing goes. So we created the platform as well in like I feel we created the whole thing in 7 days, right? From the UI to the backend to the smart contract, and we shipped the product really fast, and we hosted this thing like we pushed it in Twitter, and we got an enormous response from the whole Facebook community. Given that, uh, that made us overwhelmed, and I believe in one thing, that I should do everything that I think I should do, and I don't regret of all doing all those things, right? So we went and we left the job together, right? He was the tech lead back then in Azure. So I feel like he was he's actually one of the greatest person I have ever met in the tech ecosystem, right? And he's one of the core companions throughout my internship to full-time development journey, right? And I have learned a lot from him, and I knew that he's one of the perfect guys I can work with. So that's how the thing started, and we have left the job abruptly. And after that, leaving the job, the things turned upside down. So what happened is we left the job, and we didn't have any idea how to do fundraising, right? How to take the platform from a project level to product level, right? As a founder, we are very much new. Even if we had I had an experience founding my own small startup that never worked out, but we have learned a lot. So that's how things started, and we kickstarted the process of fundraising. Obviously, my involvement in the community ecosystem, right? Communities and all the stuff, had actually given me a lot bigger network. I have reached them all out, and I've been asking, hey, how to do this, how to do this, and people have helped me. So the community exposure I have got in my college time has really helped me here. After that, after that duration, we have raised, I feel in a month or so, we have raised $1.35 million as our seed round as a token raise. And we have taken the platform from just a decent idea platform to a full-fledged project launch funnel for the Web3 ecosystem. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Again, nice to know. And right now, you're operating with how many employees? What's the hiring criteria you usually see while hiring a candidate?
We are having seven, seven people dev team plus the marketing team. And as of the hiring criteria, right? Uh, this is something funny. And first thing I see when I'm hiring is the attitude of that person towards learning, right? And how much ownership that person can get, right? Being from a startup ecosystem, being from a place like I have never worked for big companies or corporate companies. So I believe in the startup business from the very core. So I feel as of the hiring criteria, I first see the attitude of that person towards the product, right? And how much he can actually contribute to make this product great, right? So that's how the criteria starts. If the attitude is wrong, how much technically great he or she is, specifically, I don't care. So that's how the criteria starts. After that, I'll basically tell you how the interview goes. Uh, First, we see the attitude of that person. After that, what specifically I do is I give out some tasks, right? So that is to check the technical capabilities of that person, irrespective of the experience they are having. So the task would be something new that never happened before. You have to, and that can be done. That I know, right? So I give them some tasks and see how they approach the task. Okay, and it's not a live task. If the task takes, let's say, 2 days, I give them 5 days, right? To just to check if I know that this can be done, let's say, in one day itself, right? And still I give 5 days to complete it. That's where I know that person is actually stretching the whole thing till 5 days, or he is actually doing it in the amount of time that is needed actually to give that thing, right? So that's how I checked a lot of things, that the technical capabilities plus how much enthusiast that person is towards the product and actually do the task in the required amount of time. So these are some of the gamified techniques that I have discovered to actually evaluate whom should I hire.
Again, something you shared that usually doesn't happen while the hiring process. Okay, now the last question that I will be coming to: if any student or a working professional wants to come into this field of blockchain, what should he do? How should he approach this?
So don't I would say to any person that don't see a blockchain and Web3 ecosystem as something different than a traditional Web2 development things, right? You still use React in the front end, right? It's just the backend that gets changed, right? It's just the smart contracts that are adding on into this ecosystem. And think of it as a evolution of internet. It's not just like a different field that I have been seeing people saying that, hey, I'm a Web3 developer, right? Hey, what's a Web3 developer? It doesn't matter, right? So it's something like you have some expertise in the blockchain ecosystem and you are highlighting it. So if you want to get into this ecosystem, I would say get a hold on smart contracts well, right? Rather than smart contracts, let's say if you want to code in Solidity, that you can think of like very much pure JavaScript, right? And not exactly JavaScript, but it feels like you are coding in JavaScript. If you can code in JavaScript, it would max take 2 to 3 days to get you fluent on Solidity, right? And that does not make any difference, and it does not call you as a web developer. Now the difference comes when you know about the smart contract vulnerability, right? The smart contract security perspective. The whole concept of bringing things in smart contract is the security and the trustlessness. So you have to know about how should I actually make it more trustworthy, right? How can I make my smart contract trustworthy? And whenever all these decisions comes in, right, it goes back to basics where you actually have to think from the base security layer, right? And you have to know nits and grits of data structure, right? So that data structure and algorithm specifically, right? So these small things actually matters a lot when you're developing a smart contract. So I would say have your fundamentals clear, learn the smart contract languages, and focus on the more on the security part, right? There are multiple things like the smart contract if you are already into the ecosystem of and you are already having an experience, focus on the architectural part, right? Focus on things like gas optimization, right? If you are new to the ecosystem, you can start off with smart contracts, right? And connect the dot backwards towards the architecture and then get into this gas optimization thing. So obviously, if you are a newbie, go for smart contracts. If you are already in the ecosystem, you don't need to get a hold on smart contracts. Get into the architectural level first, understand the basics, understand the core of how blockchain works, and then get into what you want to develop.
Okay, so thanks for such kind of advice, Dibyo. It means a lot that you came here and shared your experiences. Thanks a lot. Whoever watched this video, if you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks all, and thanks Dibyo for coming once again.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Mosta, to have me. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you all again.